Peace, family. Welcome back to Nurturing Birth, Nurturing Life, the space where we dive deep into all things home birth, childbirth, natural birth, and all the little things in between like parenthood. I am Yeyo, your friendly neighborhood doula with 9 years of experience as a community doula. On this week's episode, we are going to be discussing a little bit about my doula journey. I have received a few DMs on my social media of how, why, and what made me become a doula, and also how I started my doula practice. For a little bit of background, I've been a doula. This year will make it 10 years. I have been helping family, friends, my community, co-workers, and even strangers achieve their ideal birth goals. It's my passion. So I am more than happy to share any resources with anyone who also would like to be a part of the birth world. Happy to share my journey, because if my story can inspire anyone else, then by all means, please. I think it's really important for me to mention that I am from one of the, if not the, blackest, richest county in the nation. That would be PG County in the DMV, and I am the M in the DMV. This week, tragedy struck over the Potomac River in Washington, D.C., when two aircraft, Flight AA-5342 and an Army Black Hawk, collided mid-air. I am sure many others feel as I feel. As a native, I've flown that route many times, and I've walked that very river. To the souls lost in this unfortunate tragedy, my heart aches for you, and I send prayers to your families, loved ones, and all those affected by this terrible event. In moments like these, we are reminded of how precious life truly is and how quickly things can change. We're reminded that we are all connected, whether by the air above us or the river that may run through the city. So I ask for a brief moment of silence, wherever you are, to honor those we've lost. And as we reflect on this, let us also send our thoughts and prayers to the entire DMV. May healing and peace come to those grieving, and may we all find strength in this shared moment of a tragic, heart-aching sorrow. May the souls who have departed their physical form way too soon rest in peace. Ashe. There, I saw nothing but Black excellence. Black in the grocery store, schools, and hospitals, Black in the police department, fire departments, city workers. Everyone's Black. You have a few other nationalities sprinkled in there, but majority of that county is Black. So I think that that is a core memory for me. I always felt if they can do it, then I can too. Representation matters. With that background, I went through life thinking that we were all treated pretty fairly. I wasn't oblivious to racism, but I never experienced medical mistreatment or anything like that where I'm from. So you can imagine how shocked I was when I was pregnant with our first child and I didn't receive that same level of care. If you ever heard anyone say that private insurance and state insurance receive two different levels of care, they are right. So at this time, I had state insurance, and I, as you all know, gave birth in the hospital. My entire care team was not of the culture. I didn't feel heard. I felt safe, but I didn't feel heard or seen. It just left a stain on me. So I would say 5, 6 days after I had given birth, I started complaining of headaches, feeling dizzy, and I get to the emergency room, they take my blood pressure. Long story short, I have postpartum eclampsia, and I was told not to leave the hospital. I ended up staying for one night while they monitored me. However, I kept asking myself, why is it that when I came in for my 3-day checkup, me and the baby, and they took my blood pressure, and I told them I was having headaches and my vision was becoming blurry, no one batted an eye. So since no one batted an eye, I thought everything was okay. Well, it wasn't. I ended up being placed on medication for about a month or two. From there, I'm like, okay, look, what's up? Because I wasn't aware that I could have requested this, that, and third, that I could have told y'all know about this. And the list goes on. But in my research of figuring out things that I could have done a little differently in my labor and delivery and even pregnancy, I just started offering free game to family, friends, coworkers, and the community, like just people who would ask. Like, I didn't even think I was doing anything special. I'd be like, oh, yeah, found out you can do that and da. Why don't you request this? I did read that, it was in this study. So I was just doing what I felt was right because I felt I wasn't treated fairly. So the years go on after my first birth, and I'm steadily helping families, helping friends, friends of friends, take it to the 6th degree. And I finally moved to North Carolina. I moved to pretty much establish myself and start building my life, put my feet in the ground. It really started making me think, what makes me happy? Like, when am I my happiest? When do I feel less stressed? What is my passion? I've been a phlebotomist at this time, few years, but I get certified. I'm working in the industry and I still love researching online for families, sending them evidence-based facts and things like that. Again, still not knowing what I'm doing. I get tired of the medical industry and how they treat their frontline workers. And my husband brings it up. It's like, why don't you take what you do with the birth advice serious? And that's when I found out there was an actual term for what I was doing, doula support. In my head, I'm just doing it out of love, doing it because I want people to know these things. I want people to be happy about their birth experiences. I mean, how many of us have heard a birth story and the first thing they say is, it was so painful. I hated it. Like, I'm like, yo, it doesn't have to be that way. Or, oh my God, it was the worst thing I ever. Don't project because it does not have to be you. Like, that truly doesn't have to be you. And that is when I said, I'm going to do it. And I'm like, how do you even become a doula? How do you align yourself? I'm new here. I don't know anyone in this state. I'm not from here. What do I do? Where do I go? So I go online and what's popping up? No offense to any of my other subscribers, but it's a lot of white women on the Google pages. So I got researching for a while. I defined what I want my practice to focus on. And I knew I wanted holistic, nurturing, supportive, informative, evidence-based practices. I wanted to keep my practice as to the roots as possible, but I will support my families in any way. I knew with me wanting to structure my practice and align my mission with those core values, I was going to have to align myself with someone else who was also within that realm. And I ended up coming across a wonderful, amazingly experienced doula in our area. And when I reached out to them, they were so welcoming and just took me right in, took me under their wing. And to them, I'm forever grateful because they have changed my life. I try to express to them in words how much they have changed my life and the trajectory of my goals. Words can't express. But the first thing that they told me was that I should become certified as a doula because nowadays people feel safer to reach out to you or just feel more inclined to reach out to you when you show that you've been through some type of training for the field that you're looking to service. So I did. And one of the schools that was recommended was called BADT, and that is Birthing Advocacy Doula Training. When I looked at their curriculum, I noticed that not only did they offer birth doula training, but they also offered postpartum, both, which is called full spectrum, and childbirth education. Child signed up quick. I believe the course was $600. Don't quote me if you go and look. Inflation is real. Prices may have changed. The course is self-paced. They give you homework, and I love the homework. Why? Because it gave me the opportunity to connect with real problem solvers in the community I'm serving so that I can compile a list of trusted resources that I personally walked into their offices, spoke with, got their business cards, and asked, is it okay if birth families come to this facility? I got to meet some of the coolest Black folk out here. So look, So now we got the training, the family's just gonna start rolling in. No, it is not that easy. Now, granted, through my mentor, I was supporting births as backup doula, sometimes even lead doula on family cases. However, I had none under my own practice. I had to keep working with my mentor, building the community's trust, showing my face, developing marketing materials to put out into the neighborhood as well. Um, Needless to say, what my mentor recommended about being certified was some of the best advice because it is true. Once folks see that you have dedicated your time and have invested into what you're intending to service or support, they are 8 to 9 times more likely to book a consultation with you. Being in the workspace, a lot of doulas' journeys start with you kind of just so after I developed my marketing materials and putting them in the community, I started receiving a lot more clicks to my website, which I hired someone to develop for me because it became too much of a chore for myself. So I had to offload. And so I had consultations, with a lot of families. Couldn't take on all families, of course. That beginning stage was very fun. And it was enlightening. I learned a lot. I learned what I won't accept, what I will accept in a family, how to let people down gently. Also, how to be in a hospital. I said that right. So that is pretty much how I became a doula. Everyone's journey and story is different. If you truly feel like this is your calling or this is your passion, I encourage you do it. This is your year because representation matters. We need more of us in the birth space. And I'm going to tell you just how much we are needed. Right now in the South, they are doing all they can to stop Black midwives from operating birth centers, certified, degreed, state board midwives from practicing in a birth center. So representation matters, okay? Now, sharing my journey and how I doula what I do, it hasn't always been easy. Guys, this is like anything else that you want to do. You have to work hard, invest, clearly define your goals. You have to divide things into actionable and digestible bites. Because if you try to do too much at once, are you really going to be at a point where you can support your families? By the time you get your practice up and running, you could be burnt out. So my advice to anyone who wants to enter the birth space, pace yourself, clearly define your goals, know what your mission is so that you can align yourself with like-minded people, possibly even find a mentor. I suggest finding a mentor. Being a birth doula, it ain't all peaches and roses, guys. And that's like with anything in life. Where there are good days, there are also tiring days. I don't consider any day bad. I do consider them tiring though. Because as a Black person first, we have those issues. And then a Black person entering the medical space with another Black person advocating for them, that is revolutionary within itself. The mental war, the intellectual war that I constantly find myself in when I'm in birthing facilities, mainly because that's mainly where I have to defend and project my voice, it's exhausting. The labor could go like that. But imagine if the labor was 8-10 hours and throughout that 8 to 10 hours of laboring, supporting the family, also having to babysit the hospital care team, exhausting. So know what you're signing up for. This is a labor of love. You got to love this work, okay? You got to want to do it because you truly believe in it. And I truly believe in the work that I do. It's a rewarding space to be in. I learned a long time ago that there's power in knowledge. And we have been kept away from a lot of knowledge because we will hold the power. And that is what I want to give back to our families. You have the power. You are the power. We were given that power. You can do this. You can birth how you choose to birth, medically and God willing. Now, I want to encourage anyone who is interested in being a doula, learning more about my doula services, or you have any questions, leave a comment down below. If you haven't already, please click that subscribe button. I would love to build a community where we can talk freely, share advice, and we can all feel safe and welcome. I want to do this for you. Again, thank you guys for joining me. I hope my journey did inspire someone to spark theirs. Yeyo out. Peace, family. If you're enjoying the content here at Nurturing Birth, Nurturing Life, please subscribe to this channel. If you find my content informational and beneficial, feel free to share with a family member or friend. To book a consultation with us here at Nature's Nest, the Divine Doula, you can visit www.divinedoulasupport.com.